Okay. Hey there. I haven't been streaming for a long time. Last thing I streamed was like the Kingdom Hearts 3 launch day stream, so it's been a while. And even less, I haven't streamed from my PC in a even longer time. I've been playing console games mainly. So I figured I want to get back into the streaming game. So I'm doing a little short test stream here to see how my computer handles stuff, and also how this new layout I made is working. And we'll see how that goes. It's just going to be a short little. I'm just going to be playing a short little bit of endurance mode in Puyo Puyo 2, or Puyo Puyo 2, in Puyo Puyo Champions. So if you don't know Puyo Puyo, it's a puzzle spin-off of the Mado Monogatari RPG series. I'm a big fan of both series. I've been obsessive about them this past week or so. So I decided to pick up Champions, which is the latest game. It's just like challenge stuff, versus stuff, things like that. And yeah, it's solid. It's Puyo Puyo. So let's just get right into it. Yeah, let's keep the purse full. Yeah, I have a bunch of skins for the Puyos, which I really like. Although none of them, this makes me sad, none of them replicates the animation, the like detailed, sort of bouncy and like gelatinous animation that the Puyo Puyo 7 Puyos had, which was like my favorite visual style in terms of the Puyos. Quick drop means that you drop them instantly, like Tetris games. I don't really like that. I feel it's sort of awkward in Puyos. I'm just going to play it standard. There's no difficulty setting in endurance. Alright, anyway, it just gets harder each run. I just bought this yesterday. I've been playing the original Puyo, the arcade Puyo, a lot lately. First, I actually played it on an emulator, and then I bought the Nintendo Switch version, which is really good. It's really nice. They finally released the long lost English localization of Puyo 1, because that was localized back in 1992 or something. And for the longest time, we had the ROM for it. We had the arcade ship, but people thought it was a bootleg ship. Like someone had done a fan-made translation that was just very surprisingly real-seeming, because we couldn't find any information on this localization existing. And it turns out we weren't the only ones. Sega themselves apparently had no documentation showing that they had localized it, even though they had. And they actually had to acquire the chipset from a collector to put it on the Switch. I'm not doing great right now, but that's okay. Here we go. The endurance mode is literally just keep playing until you lose. And I like the fact that it doesn't reset your screen in between the characters either, so it just keeps going. Oh, we're against Amity. Sorry, Ali. Ali is the main character, one of the main characters in Puyo Puyo Chronicle, which is the 3DS RPG Puyo Puyo, which is a really cool game that sadly Sega did not localize. That tends to be the case for Puyo, but it's gotten better lately thanks to Puyo Puyo Tetris being a success. So let's hope that in the future we'll see more Puyo localizations. Oh, that wasn't that. Maybe not very good, actually. Shit. That's okay. No, it's okay. That's okay. We just do this. Yeah. I find it's odd. Like, I'm not great at Puyo Puyo. I've never been, but I've played it since I was a kid. You know, since it was Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine for me. And it's very, even when I'm losing or frustrated with it, it's still like strangely soothing to play. So when I picked up the arcade Puyo on Switch, and I also played a bit of the Tetris demo on Switch because I don't actually own Puyo Tetris. Like, I was just having a really good time, even though like I was so incredibly rusty and not at all up to how I once were when I like actually like played the games regularly. It's such a good match of like party game fun and ridiculously like high skill level play in a way that's just, it's hard to find other games that are satisfying that way. I suppose Super Smash Bros. Is for people, not for me personally, but I can definitely see how that would be like the fighting game equivalent of Puyo in that regard. How it's like very much a seriously competitive fighting game, but it's also a fun little party game. And almost first and foremost a party game. Like, it's designed to be a party game that is also really, really fun as a competitive title. And yeah, it's great. I wish more competitive games were designed that way. No one's joining the stream because it's in the middle of nowhere time-wise. Like, it's morning in Sweden. I haven't had breakfast. I decided that I would do this stream so that I could test some stuff. And no one's going to join. That's okay though. That's okay. I get to ramble. I like rambling. Especially when it's about stuff I like. Like Puyo Puyo. I really like Puyo Puyo. Oh yeah. I mentioned this on YouTube and Twitter. Oh, hello! I completely lost focus on my game because someone actually joined the stream. Yay! Hello, Asuka. It's midnight over there. Yeah, so you're probably in the US then, right? I never remember where people are from. It's like 9 AM here, I think. I don't know. I can't see it. Actually, I don't have a clock right next to me. Yeah, it's 9 AM. Yeah. I'm not sure where I was going with that, actually. So I'm just going to not continue that sentence at all. Oh, that's mean. Need to get rid of some of this nuisance. So the gray Puyo that drop down and ruin your day are called garbage Puyo in the official localization. The more literal translation from Japanese would be nuisance Puyo. I always called them stones as a kid because I thought they looked like stones, and I still haven't really gotten out of that. So I'm like, I was actually teaching Clara to play the other day. We were playing the Puyo Puyo Tetris demo, and I kept saying like, oh, and you will send stones over, and I was like, it's not called stones. Stop calling them stones. You're going to teach her the wrong things. It'll be your fault. Shouldn't have done that. That's okay. What was I saying? So I was saying I haven't had breakfast. Oh right, you're right. I mentioned this on YouTube and of course Twitter. I had my first laser hair removal treatment. Is that the word for it? I guess. Yeah. 2 days ago, and that was an experience. Painful as hell. Makes sense. I mean, they're literally blasting like a laser in your face, so yeah, of course it's going to be painful. But it was surprisingly quick. I thought. I expected it to take longer. Oh, is that Harpy? I think that's Harpy. Harpy's design has changed so much since the original Puyo that I've completely forgotten how she looks post-fever. And of course, in the English localization of the first Puyo, she isn't Harpy, she is Dark Elf. Because something about the Harpies being like a too sexual creature or something, I think they said. So they just removed her wings and made her an elf. Which is like, okay. That's interesting. Like, I know they remove religious references, like Satan becomes Dark Lord. Dark Prince, actually. And that's been a thing since that arcade localization, actually. But I didn't realize that Harpy was too sexual. It's restored now, of course, but yeah. I mean, considering that, like, this is the series that have actual succubi and incubi as characters. Like, who speak, by the way, they speak in, like, innuendos and stuff. So, like, it seems really strange that the Harpy would get censored of all things. Then again, the incubi and succubi aren't in the arcade game, so maybe they just didn't know about that yet. They'd only been in Mada Monogatari at that point, I think. Actually, I don't think the incubi had been in anything yet. Incubi had it in Puyo Puyo Sun, I think. Which I have, by the way. I have the PC version of Puyo Puyo Sun. Which is a really interesting version, because, like, when people think, like, PC ports of, like, old 90s games, they think like, oh no, like really terrible ports, but like it's a super solid port of the arcade game. Was an arcade game first or a Saturn game first? I don't remember. But either way, it's a perfect replication of the game. It runs great. Even on modern system, it just runs. I installed it yesterday and like put it in my Steam library. Oh god. Fish guy, whose name is something in Japanese that I can never remember. He also had an odd localized name, I can't even remember that one right now. He's annoying. Yeah, I'm playing with Japanese voices. I actually think the English voice acting is pretty good. It's just that it's one specific character, and it's Chig, or Sig. I just cannot deal with the English voice of Sig. Like, they just sound wrong to me in a way that, like, infuriates me. Because Sig is, like, one of my favorite characters in the series. Like, it's Sig that sort of to me, saved Puyo Fever 2, or rather, saved like Sonic Team era Puyo from being just sort of a dull mess. No shade against Amity, she's great, but it wasn't as good as it used to be. And Shig is just fantastic. Like, I tend to refer to him as my half demon son, and yes, he is. I have to forget chains right now to just get rid of all this nuisance. Well, thank you. I'm glad my rambling about old games can be productive in some way, I guess. But yeah, it's true. Most people will only know Puyo Puyo. Well, maybe not these days, actually. But it used to be that people would only really know Puyo Puyo from Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, or alternatively from Kirby's Avalanche, or Kirby's Ghost Trap, as it was called in Europe. And that was the case for me as well, of course, initially. Like, I played the Mega Drive version, or the Genesis version, of Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, of course, like anyone else did. And I think I first stumbled upon Puyo through like some ROM collection, and I think it was Puyo Puyo 2, but I'm not entirely sure. It's been too long. It was the mid-90s, back when like the games I had, especially emulated stuff like that, was stuff that my dad had just like downloaded randomly and stuck in a folder for me to look at and entertain myself with. It's also how I played a lot of like the games I now consider my favorites. Was that way, because like we couldn't really afford consoles. We could have one console, but it had to be secondhand. So we got, or rather, I got a Super Nintendo secondhand, and well, actually, first I got a Mega Drive, but that one exploded. Actually exploded. Dad plugged in an AC adapter that was too I had too much voltage in it, but he didn't check ahead of time. Oh, this is gonna hurt. Oh, well, wasn't that bad. So my Mega Drive exploded. Well, that sucked. But I got a Super Nintendo with like Donkey Kong Country and a Formula 1 game I can never remember the name of. It's like something lightning. Maybe it's Thunder. It's Thunder or Lightning in the title. I like that one. Super Tennis. Played Super Tennis a lot. And two golf games. And I can't remember which they might have been. Because you know, sport games were cheap because no one liked them. In fact, there was a secondhand store that would sell games, and you could trade them in, either sell them or trade them for new games, or rather, you could trade them for games in the store. And normally it was one game per game. Like you went in with a Super Nintendo game, and you could pick another Super Nintendo game and leave. Except for sports games, it was 2 sports games for a non-sports game, because no one likes sports games. Which just an amazing like way of like just telling everyone that, you know, don't buy these games. Like, who's gonna buy the sports games when like the store advertises that no one wants them? The 90s were interesting. I'm not doing too shabbily, all things considered. Shabbily? It's just shabby. My English is shabbily, apparently. Yeah. First spell we got in a while there, actually. Yeah, do you like my layout? I just made it. It's based on the original Puyo arcade, or most people will know it. I talked about the Mean Bean Machine again, because it was used there as well. I don't think Kirby's Avalanche used it. I think they used an original thing, because that was like not a simple localization. It was actually Nintendo like approaching Compile about developing a Puyo game that was not a Puyo game. That is actually really funny, because Puyo Puyo came about when, oh god, that's not good, and I'm dead. I'm dead. Ah. Well, 8 wins, that's better than 6 wins. Yeah, you got a lucky blow. Let's play a fever mode. Fever mode is, well, it was the stuff introduced in Puyo Puyo Fever, or Puyo Pop Fever in the West. Ringoshig. Ringo. I was going to say something. I just lost completely my train of thought. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, yeah. Anyway, so like, yeah, growing up, the way I got games was kind of awkward because either like I got them from a secondhand store like that, or I got them through an emulator that had a data download. And yeah, that was basically it. Well, DOS games too. I played a lot of DOS games. I'm just gonna have to do. So yeah, in Puyo Puyo Fever you have like this power-up thing. You can see there's like this little meter on the sides are screens. Filling up. And when that fills up, we get into Fever mode, where you get to like try and quickly solve a Puyo puzzle. A few actually, as many as you can before the time runs out, basically. Okay. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like the layout. I was worried it was going to like be too busy and potentially kill bitrate, but then again it doesn't move, so it should be fine. But I did actually consider like adding an animated carbuncle instead of the still image one. Oh fuck! I completely missed that he went into fever. That's okay. That's okay. Yeah, so in my opinion, here is where the lack of Puyo Puyo 7's detail animation really hurts, because like all the way the Puyos would join and drop down were animated differently in Puyo Puyo 7, and I really like the way they were animated in Puyo Puyo 7. Puyo Puyo 7 is a bit of like, it's an odd one because it's like one of the ones that has like a very divided fan reception. Like, I think everyone agrees that it's good, but it was strange and different, and that, you know, always means mixed reception in a way. 7 has this thing where you transform into either a kid version of yourself or an adult version of yourself, and when you do, like the size of the Puyos change, so like you get less lanes or more lanes because the Puyos are bigger or smaller. That's the version of the Fever mode in 7. It's called Dai Henshin, so just great transformation basically. That was not how I meant to put that. How to remedy that quickly? Oh, this is gonna hurt. Oh wait, no, that's fine. Fever! Alright, let's... That was badly done by me. Yes. These are actually like trickier to figure out than you think. Well, not that one is super easy. Like, you can take your time and try and like, build more to actually get rid of all of them. That's the ultimate goal, but I'm so bad at this stuff that I never bother with that. Which character am I on anyway? Well, I mean, which number of character am I on? I don't see a counter anywhere. I did pick endurance, right? Pretty sure I did. Yeah. Yeah, and that all clear there I got, that is also that is also unique to the fever mode. Well, I'm pretty sure it is, at least it should be. I realized that I shouldn't speak with too much certainty regarding Puyo Puyo Champions yet, since I've only owned it for a few hours. What I know about Puyo Puyo, it should be exclusive to the fever mode, and I'm pretty sure it is. I don't see why they would change that. Fire! Oh, so, alright, I forgot, I'm not Arl this time. Yeah, that was badly done. Yeah. This isn't gonna help me at all. I'm so glad this game is neutralized. Since I mentioned, I've been playing the arcade version of the first game, and that game doesn't have neutralize, which is the rule that means that if you that as your nuisance or garbage Puyo build, you can like counteract them by doing combos or chains. So that you can basically like quickly prevent your incoming death if you play good the seconds before the garbage drops. And in Puyo Puyo 1 on arcade, that's not the thing. Meaning that if you get like enough chains going, like it's not even too many, it's like a 5 chain going. Like if you get 2 separate 4 chains going, you basically have won the match because the other player won't be able to neutralize it, so it's going to fill up like the entire screen, and yeah. Of course, that still requires you to be good at chains, which I'm not. But you know, in theory, it's ridiculously simple. So I'm not good at chains, and I actually do a really good chain afterwards. That's not bad. Oh, that was my first victory? Wow! This endurance mode is mean. I'm glad I decided to stream this though. This is nice. This puts me in a good mood. I need to be in good moods more. I've been really depressed this year, so it's like it's nice to be able to just kick back and play some Puyo. I'm actually planning on streaming Code Vein. That releases next week. Yeah, it's next week. I have it pre-ordered, but like there's not been any preload on Steam or anything like that yet. I'm hoping it launches at midnight on Steam. If it doesn't, then I will just have to change the time when I plan on streaming it, which isn't, you know, the end of the world. Oh shit, this isn't what I wanted. Okay. I'm really looking forward to that. Even though I'm not good at like the Souls-like games, it's a Souls-like game about vampires with a really robust character creator. So I'm gonna force myself to get good at that game, because that game is like the game I've been dreaming about for decades. Well, no, let's say a decade. Oh shit, that's annoying. Oh, this is terrible. That was like the worst fever mode I've ever done. The one tricky thing about streaming stuff like Puyo Puyo is it's really hard to read the chat, because you can't really take your eyes away from the screen. Like I'm trying to every now and then like glance over. I'm surprised though. I'm actually this is incredibly silly, but like I wanted to make sure I was able to talk while playing Puyo at like a semi-decent level. So as I was playing the Puyo arcade game on Switch, I kept narrating what I was doing to sort of practice, to make sure that I could keep the conversation going and keep like a steady like flow of talking while still playing the game. And that's actually how I beat the game. Like I uploaded a little clip where I beat Satan or Dark Prince, and that during that recording you can't hear it, of course, because there's no microphone. But I was basically just sitting there narrating to myself what I did good and what I did wrong, and it was kind of fun. I really liked doing that, and it was doing that that made me feel confident enough to like even try this, like even play Puyo on a test stream, because like Puyo Puyo is a surprisingly like intense game at times. Like it's a puzzle game, so of course it gets intense, but like even by puzzle standards, like I don't know, maybe I am biased, but to me at least I find that Puyo is way more it can become way more intense and like than like Dr. Mario can, or Tetris. And I know people will disagree with me on that, because Tetris is a big one, of course. That's fine if you think so, but for me it's Puyo. But I'm not sure why I'm doing one chains now. I just sort of stopped caring. But I was worried that when things get tough, that I wouldn't be able to keep talking. So I'm glad I'm able to, even though I still stutter like a motherfucker all the time. That is actually like why I do more scripted content. I say that I don't do a lot of content at all, but when I do content, I do more scripted content these days in terms of videos, because my stutter has gotten like worse in recent years. So anything that has like improvisation means more stuttering, because I can't do like simple retakes and stuff like that. And it's probably because I just stopped doing videos overall, which, you know, there's been various reasons for that, that I ended up getting my stutter back. It was never fully gone, but it used to be better. I'm back to doing one chains again. I'm never gonna get like higher wins and endurance on fever with one chains, but for whatever reason I just keep doing them. Okay, let's change things up a bit. I say and do a 1 chain again. Oh, here's a 2 chain at least. No, fuck, it wasn't. I completely looked wrong. Ah, yeah. I don't know. I have completely lost the groove here. I was doing okay in the previous run, but oh well, it happens. Oh, CPU is in fever. Who am I playing against? Like character-wise? Oh, Serena. It is Serena, right? Serena? I remember the mermaid from Monogatari. She first appeared in the Puyo games in Puyo Puyo, the 4th Puyo game. My favorite, actually. And that's another one that's, like, not a fan favorite. But I love it. So bad at these parts. I really liked Puyo Puyo. I think, like, the general consensus is that, like, Puyo Puyo has a really good story and really cool art style, but the gameplay is lacking compared to Puyo Puyo Sun and Puyo Puyo 2. And I can see that, I guess. For me, it's still, like... it's still the best one to me. I don't know. It just speaks to me in a way. It helps that it's on a Dreamcast, like, that's just my bias, but... oh no, I miscalculated that. That should work. She's getting rid of my, yeah, she's making good use of the neutralize rule right there. I forget what that was called by fans before it became neutralize rule. It had a fan name. Overflow? I think it was the overflow rule. I'm not certain though. I could have completely made it up now. I'm not too sure. I'm gonna have to look that up later. The eternal struggle with niche games is that sometimes you think you remember something and it turns out you mixed up information and no one can correct you because no one else knows about it. There we go. That's a nice little combo. At this rate, this endurance mode is never gonna end because I'm just going to be stuck on like the first few enemies, and neither of us are going to make moves decent enough to kill the other one. Oh yeah, I remember what I actually lost my train of thought on now. Kirby's Avalanche, when Nintendo requested it. That's a really funny story because when Puyo was first created, the idea was the creator, whose name I don't remember right now, he got the idea from domino bricks. He thought of a game where you would match domino bricks, and if you had enough of the same number matching together, they would you know, disappear. And at the time, Dr. Mario had just released. So he thought, if I just make this game with domino bricks, Nintendo will see how similar it is to Dr. Mario, and they will file a lawsuit. But if we take our established Monogatari characters and make it a Monogatari spin-off, the fact that it uses established characters means they won't notice. And I don't know if they did notice, considering they went to Compilator, was like, hey, can you make a puzzle game for us? Oh, to be fair, I think the game's different enough to where they didn't even have to worry about that. But it's a fun story nonetheless. And it's funny to think that, like, this game was almost, like, about just matching up domino bricks. That would have never become a hit, you know? Like, not because it wouldn't be fun gameplay-wise, it would be the same game, but, like, you need the characters. They're such a big part of the series' identity. That's actually one of my complaints with how Sega has been managing the series, is that they've cared far less about the characters than Compile did. Like, they still have really good characters. Like, Fever and Onward has fantastic characters. Yay! I'm fighting Ali now. But they don't give them the same kind of depth, and definitely not like the little character journeys that sometimes would happen as Compile would do. Because of course Compile had an entire RPG franchise attached to it that they cared deeply about. Like the lore in Compile's Puyo Puyo / Monogatari timeline is completely just balls to the wall, ridiculously detailed. It makes Kingdom Hearts look like, I don't know, Dragon Quest in terms of simplicity. Like, it's amazing, and I love it. And I'm not saying Sega had to do that, because I don't think that's what the Puyo fanbase necessarily wants. That's what the Monogatari fanbase would want, but it's not the Monogatari series anymore. That's just something we have to accept. But I think they could do more with, like, actually having character arcs and character development for their characters, because they don't even follow up on what little they have. It's like Puyo Puyo Fever. Well, first of all, for whatever reason, they made Arl have blue eyes, which was like, Arl had brown eyes, now she has yellow eyes, and I'm like, did you just not care to check, or is it like, why does she keep changing eye color? Is like that relevant? Anyway, Arl ends up in Primptown, which is a completely different dimension from the Mother world, and she wants to get back home. Cool. That's a very simple setup. She doesn't get home, and in Puyo Puyo Fever 2, she's still looking for a way home. And as the series continues, she decides to, like, oh no, I don't want to go home, I want to find a way to be able to freely move between both of these dimensions and live in both of them. Cool. And I think she does that now, except we never saw it happen. Like, unless I missed it, it might have been in one of the anniversary games maybe? But I don't think we ever saw, like, I'll figure out a way to travel between worlds. Yet somehow every single Mother World character is now in the series again, in the other worlds. Arl keeps appearing in whatever world she needs to appear in, and it's like, you set up this story and you concluded it off screen? Like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is in the anniversary games, which I haven't like played much of them, and I haven't read like any translated story for them. So maybe it's there. But if it's there, I think that's an odd placement, considering it was in the mainline, quote unquote, numbered games. The way Puyo Puyo used to do numbers was by using puns. So it was Puyo Puyo 2 was Puyo Puyo 2. And Puyo Puyo Sun was Puyo Puyo San, or 3. And Puyo Puyon was Yon, 4. And Puyo Puyo Fever was Puyo Puyo 5. Get it? I don't know why you did there. But, yeah. They just sort of dropped that, and like no character really have any major development anymore. Like they're just sort of static characters. It's a problem I have with Sega overall. They do the same with the Sonic series. Like they're so scared of, I'm guessing, backlash, because there's been so much of it, from like any kind of character development or major reveal or event to the series, that everything just remains the same, and I don't like that. It works better in Puyo than in Sonic, because Puyo is primarily just, you know, a chill little puzzle game. But yeah, like you have Puyo Puyo Chronicle, which is like this big RPG, and it's really cool, and it's like, what effects does it have on the cast in the end? Nothing. I mean, they know Ali now. That's nice. She's cool. Okay. Puyo Puyo Quest brought back Doppelganger R, who was thought to be dead. Do they explain how that happened? No. Okay. Like, I don't know. You can see this, and like this lack of care for like the characters. You can see in like just stuff like the box art as well. Like, following Puyo Puyo Fever 2, none of the games feature characters on the box art except for the RPG I mentioned. So Puyo Puyo 15th Anniversary, Puyo Puyo 7, Puyo Puyo 20th Anniversary, Puyo Puyo Tetris, Puyo Puyo Champions or Esports. None of them have characters on the cover. And it's supposed to be about the characters. Like, the characters are why Puyo became popular. It's not just gameplay. Like, yes, gameplay is important. Of course it is. But we're here for the characters. We're here because we love R, because we love Ringo, because we love Chig, because we love... No one loves Satan. But you get the point. Like, why are they doing it like that? It's so strange, because like, they don't have to do that. Like, you don't have to have bad box arts. You have great artwork. It's showing up in the game all the time. Just use it. You used to. Puyo Puyo Fever, both of them have really good box art. So clearly Sega can do it. They don't need compile for it, but yeah. I don't know. I say that actually, there were some pretty shitty box arts for Puyo Puyo Fever as well. The American GameCube box art is god-awful. And again, doesn't have any characters. And the same for the Western, I think it's both American and European, PSP cover. No, I have to say, even though Sega completely mismanaged the Puyo localization when they made Puyo Pop, and basically caused it to flop, they didn't half-ass it. Like, they put it on like every platform they could, and you know, they did like a complete localization with a dub and everything. And I do appreciate that, because Sega like after Puyo Puyo, and I guess to a lesser degree after the first Yakuza games, Sega just stopped when it came to like trying to localize things for the longest time. Like, now it's back. Now we get Puyo. Now we get Yakuza. We're getting the new Sakura Wars game. But it's like, for the longest time, Sega didn't want to do anything in the West that wasn't Sonic. Which, to me at least, really, really hurt as a Sega fan. I mean, I've been, like, Sega games are the ones I've been playing for the longest. I mentioned that I had a Mega Drive that blew up, but like, more than that, I grew up playing, you know, Sonic games, Alex Kidd, well, Puyo Puyo to a degree, even though it was the first Dr. Robotics Mean Bean Machine. Columns. I played a fuck ton of Columns. Virtua Fighter, Outrun. Like, most of my classic favorite games are Sega games. My favorite game of all time is Shenmue. Like, and Sega was just this big, incredibly disappointing nonsense in the 2000s and early 2010s. I mean, it took them 3 years to localize Puyo Puyo Tetris. And it's like, that game even has a Tetris thing to help it sell, and you were still scared of it. They localized Puyo Puyo Quest, and they were like, no, Puyo doesn't sell, let's rebrand it. And instead of rebranding it as like a Sonic game or, you know, something that has actual brand integrity, they made a new IP called Cranky Food Friends. What made them think Cranky Food Friends would have more brand relevancy than Puyo Puyo? Like, even if I would agree that Puyo Puyo wouldn't sell, well, which clearly was wrong, by the way, even if we would, like, just say, like, hey, Puyo doesn't sell, what makes you say Cranky Food Friends will sell? Like, what? I don't know what the hell Sega was doing. It bugs me so much. Even now, like, Puyo Tetris was 2014. And this doesn't have a story mode. Chronicle does. Chronicle was an anniversary game. And they made a different thing. Instead of just making a simple little party game, they made an RPG, and that was really cool. I thought that was super neat. I hope that continues as a tradition. But like, that was the last proper new Puyo game. Because as much as I love this, Champions, it's just, you know, it's just a competitive multiplayer game, which is great, but it's not, you know, it's not a new story chapter for Puyo. It doesn't introduce any new characters. Well, I guess it introduces Ali to the West, but and like, you think back on it, like the last mainline numbered Puyo Puyo game was 2009, 10 years ago. And the last Puyo game with a story that wasn't an RPG was 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Wow. And the one with a story was 3 years ago, and there's no Puyo game announced. And if there's a new Puyo game, you realize, well, it's probably just going to end up being the next anniversary game in 2021. And it's like, it's such a waste of potential. And like, I get it, Sonic Team isn't the biggest studio Sega has, and they're busy, you know, with things like Sonic games. But this is gonna sound harsh, maybe, but did you consider maybe letting Sonic Team do Puyo first, Sonic second? Like, all things considered, and I say that as someone who likes, you know, most of the modern Sonic games. I thought Sonic Forces was really fun, but like, it's just an actual fact of the matter that Puyo is more well received in Japan and has more of a has more brand integrity than Sonic does in Japan. Yes, it actually does. It doesn't sell more than Sonic, but in terms of like reach among audiences, Puyo Puyo is Sega's most widespread IP. Like, everyone will know what Puyo Puyo is, even if they haven't played the games in a while. It's like Dragon Quest in that regard. Like, it's ridiculous how huge it is. I mean, there's a reason Sega bought it, you know? They bought it, none of the other compile IPs, which is why they don't have Madame Monogatari. Which is why it's now a pain to license, and most of the games can't be accessed anymore unless you buy super rare collector's editions of PC ports released only in Japan. But like, maybe just let Sonic Team breathe for a bit and do a new full-scale proper Puyo sequel instead of putting them onto the next Sonic project. Like, yeah, I want the next Sonic project. I'm hoping it's something cool. I'm hoping it's not just the next anniversary game and it's another generation / Forces, because I am so tired of games that are only focused on nostalgia. Like, I'm so incredibly over nostalgia as a concept by now. I said this about Doom Eternal. Like, Doom Eternal looks to be a really good game, but it makes me tired because like they're like, hey look, the plasma gun looks like the one from Doom 1 now. Hey look, here's an enemy that looks like it did in Doom 1. The Cyber Demon looks like the Cyber Demon from Doom 1. And it's like, that's great. This is a new Doom game, right? Show me more new stuff. And they have shown new stuff, which I'm not saying they haven't, but for me at least, like, I'm so over the whole catering to nostalgia thing. Like, Sonic Generations did nothing for me in terms of nostalgia. It's a good game, but like, I didn't go, yay, I get to experience Radical Highway again from my favorite Sonic game. Like, no, I just wanted a new Sonic game, and Sonic Forces could have been that, but they shoved in the whole anniversary element with like classic Sonic, and then like for whatever reason decided that like, yeah, let's bring in Green Hill and Chemical Plant Zone and make those like multiple levels. And it's like, did anyone ask for that? Like, I know there's always like a disagreement between fans whether or not Green Hill is overused or if it's such a serious staple that it can't be overused. But like, I don't think anyone asked for like Green Hills to be multiple stages. I don't know. I just want new things to exist. It's not just video games. Like, I am technically someone who likes remakes and retellings. I mean, I love theater, and theater is built on retelling the same stories. But you also have to do new things with it. Hello, Jeb. If you haven't played Sonic Forces, you should. Like, it's good, and it's really cheap now. You can also get it together with Puyo Puyo Tetris for Switch, because Sega had so much trouble selling the latest Sonic game that they bundled it with Puyo Puyo, the series they claimed wouldn't sell in the West, to make it sell better. Which is just... that is just beautiful. Like, yeah. Yeah. Clearly Puyo wouldn't sell in the West. Only Sonic would. Oops. But yeah, Sonic Forces is good. Like, it's not like it's not like the best 3D Sonic ever made or anything like that. But if you enjoy the 3D Sonic games, be it in particular the Boost era, obviously, you will probably like it. Like, I think I liked it better than Generations. The only thing that feels lesser than Generations is that classic Sonic controls much worse. I don't know why, but he does. But overall, I really liked, and I love the character thing. I love that you get to make your own character. I thought that was a really cute thing they did. Like, heck yeah, I want to be... did I just say heck yeah? What the fuck? Wow. Like, yeah, I want to be Sonic's friend. I always wanted to be Sonic's friend. So that was really neat. And I like that it did have a story focus. They clearly wanted to do something more than just what it ended up being. But I guess that's just what happens sometimes. Things don't always work out as planned. But it's a good game. Well, the strangest thing with Sonic and Nostalgia is that now we basically have a dedicated nostalgia pillar to the franchise. Because the classic Sonic thing is considered its own pillar now. It has even become its own universe. Like, classic Sonic is from a different dimension than modern Sonic now. They've completely separated them. So there is already like a completely separated part of Sonic devoted to nostalgia. So why does the modern Sonic stuff have to cater to it as well? Like, if people want nostalgia, they want Sonic Mania. and I'm sure we're getting a Sonic Mania sequel, like, probably in time for the anniversary, it's 2021. So it might even be announced next year, who knows. They have the new consoles next year, so they're gonna need something to put on that. And there's definitely more Sonic Mania coming. And, you know, that's good. That's cool. Personally, I prefer 3D Sonic, so I want a new 3D Sonic, but I don't want a new 3D Sonic if it's just going to be Sonic Generations 3. Because if you want nostalgia, I will play Sonic Mania. And I feel the same way about Puyo. I want there to be a new story. And to be fair, Puyo Puyo Tetris is a new story. Puyo Puyo Tetris is definitely like the closest we've had to Puyo 8. Maybe it's even supposed to be considered Puyo 8. I don't know. Because like it went all the way in on having a proper story, a bunch of new characters, and like, yeah, they really went all out. And I still need to play through it myself, but I've been watching others playthroughs. And yeah, more like that, please. And of course, I don't mind stuff like Puyo Chronicle, but you know, that's less likely to be localized, sadly, because RPGs have a lot of text. But hey, who knows? Maybe one day. If you know, I would love like Puyo Chronicle to get an HD version and for that to get localized. And it's more likely now, considering how well Puyo is selling. The next Puyo game releasing in the West is Sega Ages Puyo Puyo 2. And I'm wondering if that's going to be in Japanese or not. I know they released Puyo Puyo 2 on the 3DS as part of the Sega 3D Classics thingy they did. I don't know if they translated the game for that or if it's just a Japanese game. Alright, take care, Asuka. Thanks for coming to the stream. I appreciate it. It was really fun. And what was I saying? Oh yeah. So I don't know if they translated the that was terrible. Yeah, I don't know if they translated Puyo Puyo 2 for 3DS. But if they did, then they already have a translation, so then, yeah, then it will definitely be translated. But if they don't, I don't know if they will, like, do a new translation just for the Sega Ages release. That seems unlikely. The thing is, there is an old localization, but it's the Neo Geo Pocket. The Neo Geo Pocket Color version of Puyo Puyo 2 was localized as Puyo Pop, of course, in the West. I believe it's the only version of Puyo Puyo 2 that's been localized. Sorry if there's noise in the background, by the way. That is because of construction workers that have been working non-stop since we moved in over a year ago, and I don't know when it's going to end. Oh yeah, I was wondering. Oh, okay, so yeah, Puyo Pop. That was the construction workers. Puyo Pop was Sega's mid-2000s, late 90s to mid-2000s attempt at localizing Puyo Puyo. So they renamed the whole thing Puyo Pop instead of Puyo Puyo because, I don't know, they probably thought it wouldn't sell otherwise. But that's why we got Puyo Pop Fever. But before we got Puyo Pop Fever, there were actually other ones localized. There was the Game Boy Advance game, Minna de Puyo Puyo, which got localized as Puyo Pop. Yes, Puyo Pop for Game Boy Advance. Then there was the Neo Geo Pocket Color version of Puyo Puyo 2, which was localized as Puyo Pop. Yes, Puyo Pop. And then there was the original English Puyo game, exclusive to the West, for the Nokia N-Gage, called Puyo Pop. Yes, Puyo Pop. So there are 3 different handheld games just called Puyo Pop. And they're released like 1 year between each other. I might actually be dead here. This is not good. Oh well. 007 wins. Oh, I lost to Draco. This is Draco, oh, what's the last name? Kentaros. Draco Kentaros. In the first Puyo game, she was localized as Dragon Woman. The first localization is very strange. I like this. They actually included Doppelganger All as an avatar. She's my favorite Puyo character. She's the antagonist from Puyo Puyo. And they have like nice little purple frames and purple backdrops to go with it too. I really like that. They actually have like surprisingly good settings. But as I mentioned earlier, a bunch of Puyos. So many Puyos. I really like the Shulk ones, but they're a bit annoying to look at for a longer time. They are the original ones, 91. Humanoids, which are just creepy. Sonic Puyos, which I'm like, what? Game Gear ones. It's cute. I like the Fever ones. The Aqua ones, which are the ones used in 15th anniversary and onward? Or 7 or onward? I'm not certain now. One of the two. They're okay. I think they've been overused by now. Because they haven't updated them since then. Which is over a decade ago. They're the classic one. I like that they actually like redid these in HD. They're not just the old sprites. It's like they're generally how they would look if made today. The MSX ones are great, yeah. I like the metallic ones too, but the colors are a bit off on that one, so I don't tend to use it much. But it's based on the Fear one. And this is the Alphabet one. The one just called Retro, I believe this is the Famicom version. I'm pretty sure it's the Famicom version. And then that one was in Puyo 7 too. The flat ones are nice. They're based on the artwork of Puyos from the Fever series. And I really do like them. Like, they're nice. Capsules, I don't know what they're from. They're just empty Puyos. Shock. MSX. Yeah, it's nice. I don't know. I have no idea what a Morolean is. Blocks. Actually, in Puyo Puyo Tetris, they have Tetris blocks, so you can play with as Puyos instead of just these blocks. But yeah, a bunch of nice settings. Runs really well too. I've only played it for a little bit now, but as you can see, I have 0 wins and 0 plays in the Puyo Puyo League. They have a goal here for popping 1,000 Puyos in completed matches, apparently. Another collection. Oh yeah, there's official shoutings and stuff. Anyway, that was me playing Puyo Puyo. I just wanted to do this as a little test stream. I think it worked pretty well. Hopefully the audio was good. I didn't see anyone complain about it at least, so that's cool. And thank you for watching. And there's probably going to be I'm probably going to be streaming Toho Project 17, Wily Beast, and Weakest Creature at some point before Code Vein, because I bought that yesterday as well, and I've been meaning to play it. Side stacking. Ali knows her stuff. Stacking on the sides like that to get quick towers is super risky, but when you get it right, it just makes for like the longest combos, as she will probably demonstrate right here. Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. Anyway, yeah. See ya.